The thing that jumps out for me in music is the emotion that you receive from it, whether it's the lyrics, the singer's voice inflections, or the instruments used, or the instruments and what they're doing in the songs themselves. I just really get lost in it. Music is beautiful. It's all about vibrations and energies. When I was maybe like 3, 4 years old, my eldest brother with his friends make music actually. I remember they would draw in the beats. I just always thought it was so interesting, so I would like float around them and like just watch them make the beats. I guess I was always around it as well from my parents. My mom really loved house music. She would listen to Salt and Pepper, and my dad with his rock. So like I have a huge mix of music. Like I don't know, it's just so diverse. This is home. My beautiful city, the city of Chicago, is unmatched. Unmatched. What people from the outside hear on the news is like, oh, the murder rates are high and the politicians are corrupt. Yeah, but I really love Chicago. Like I said, I feel like anywhere I go, my city is like always behind me. Like it feels unmatched. One thing about Chicago is it is very segregated still. I think that's why when you cross like bridges and stuff, it's like a different community. So this is my first apartment. It feels kind of weird being away from family because I'm just so used to having everybody in my house always being there, and when I come home I don't have that big family anymore. So on that side it feels a little empty and weird, but other than that I definitely love the freedom and the privacy that I get to have in my own house. Right now I'm staying in Cicero. It's not really technically Chicago, but it is like 20-15 out from it. The neighborhood's pretty quiet, but sometimes you do hear a lot of like police sirens and stuff, just like around the city. MTV, welcome to my crib. I got no furniture, but it's still lit. A big challenge I feel in Chicago, it's no surprise the crime rates have been climbing through the roof, but it's not just because the criminals themselves. I feel like our city's at a divide, whether it's like, oh, are you with the cops or are you not with the cops? And I feel like you sort of need both sides. Ever since like COVID and all the riots that we had regarding like police brutality, violence has only climbed higher because cops don't really want to be out here dealing with everybody's shenanigans, if that makes sense. They feel they're underpaid and underappreciated, and I get that. I put myself in their shoes, and like I couldn't imagine, you know, being hated for doing your job. The unique thing about music is that if you add social justice behind it, you definitely could create a movement with it. Michael Jackson had the best message where it's like, it doesn't matter if you're black or white. That simple message, but a catchy song. And for a small moment, he had a whole movement going on with it. Working at CRC is definitely, I don't know, I just couldn't imagine being in a studio with the reputation that it has. You know, I'm so used to going into like local studios or even like home studios. I have my own little home studio, and like, I don't know, I would never picture being in a big studio like this, especially when you have big artists like Lady Gaga, Michael Jackson, and you know, Lil Wayne, all these big artists that have recorded here before.
That was dope. Do that again. Here we go.
The body is a temple, complex so simple. Pressure to my temples, cause most don't get it. They rather hit it than quit it. It makes some my decisions, I'm conflicted. My talents did more than any addicted. I'm addicted, defined it in the source. Like why can't I be looked at for something more? Thinking to yourself, I can never fuck with her. It's a business and ladies had nothing to do with it. And I'm tired, not feeling all alone. I'm inspired by the women who have grown from your desires.
What inspired my version song is personally experiencing like the discrimination that I get, especially as an artist, a female artist and a songwriter. It's like, oh, she wrote this, or she's not really capable of this. And then same thing goes for in like my workplace. I work in the music industry at like music venues, and it's like, it's always, there's a man above. And I always felt sort of like, I have all the capabilities, but I'm forever living in the shadows. When is it gonna be my turn? So I just sort of wanted wanted to make a song about it because there's not really many songs about it, but I just felt like something I had to vocalize. So this is Chicago Tech Academy. This is where I went to high school. This is also where I discovered I wanted to do music again. Even though it is a technology school, there's a lot of art involved. So the idea for my social impact project is to create a mural right here on my school. And the mural is gonna be, like stop the violence or something along the lines of that. I feel like the kids that went to my former high school really, since it's a lower income high school and people who come from those lower income neighborhoods really suffer from the most violence. And so I feel like it's just people who are gonna be as passionate about this as I am because for one, they're already going through it, and for two, they can see how it has already impacted their lives. I definitely want to stay in touch with my community. Later on in the future, once I get like better connection and funds to start like an organization specifically with arts or music for the youth, because I feel like that's something that's really impactful, especially in the school system. In Chicago, we've dealt with a lot of defunding in our schools, and unfortunately a lot of the programs that were cut were like art programs or music programs, and I feel like that's really fundamental, especially for kids like in kindergarten and things, because it helps build so many more skills than we understand. The Versions program definitely does take some time to really sit down and absorb the information, especially when we have like little workshops when it's like you sit down and learn about colonialism and things like that. As far as the community, they're constantly being supportive and sharing their sides of the story, and especially in our little group chat that we have, they're constantly keeping us updated on the news that's happening around them. As an American, I feel like we're only fed things that come from America. Like we're so cut off from the rest of the world. Like I had no idea all the things that were happening in like Africa, but thanks to like drills and all them, it's like they brought that attention where it's like, yo, there's wars going on and these people are killing their civilians and all this like crazy stuff. I just hope like every single one of us from Versions really inspires more people in our community so we're not the only ones, doing stuff. I really hope that we could pass the torch down. Sad but glad,
Yeah.
Yeah. Sad but glad.